it up, it's directional. So straight up.
Like yes,
that.
there we
Yeah,
go.
like
There we go.
that.
There we go.
Get the sweet spot on it.
There we go. There we go. All right. So, Mr. Gartrell, let's hear it. You also make some of the best damn baked beans you ever had in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I loved them.
Hands
pretty
down.
good.
Yeah,
They
wow.
were finished off last night too.
Yeah, they were wiped out. Thank you, everybody out there.
Yeah.
That's one of those things I make quite often, but I make it so much that it's kind of lost its power for me. But if my friends like it, I'll.
I'm kind of the same way with the turnip greens. Everybody's like, you got to make a turnip. You got to make a turnip greens. So I'll make the turnip greens. But I like them too. Especially on New Year's Eve.
But you
But now
don't.
Michelle's cheesecake yesterday was just absolutely out of this world.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody loves her cheesecake.
Yeah, I got to take a finger and rub it on the bottom because it was all gone and taste it that way. So.
Now, she brought me like 17 of those one time. And she had a lot. She overcooked for the party or whatever, and we had like 17 of them
In the
freezer.
freezer.
Well, he told me there'd be like 200 people probably, and I'm going, okay, 200. How many?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
So I tried to make enough.
And you made that many?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
17.
Oh, okay.
It seemed like it.
10.
Because we ate cheesecake for like 6
Close
months.
enough. Yeah.
Then I couldn't do it anymore. I was gummed up for another 6 months. But,
He was like, don't show me any more damn cheesecake. I'm good for a while, okay?
yeah.
I know,
She's,
I know.
next time we was going to have a party, she's like, you want me to bring cheesecake? I'm like, no.
That's funny.
So now I bring him cookies.
Yeah, cookies, yeah. Here's your damn cookie, asshole. Yeah. That's how that goes.
Tiki Man, the people in the bar said they turn up the volume just a little bit in there if you can. So,
How's that?
All right.
Double thumbs up.
Yeah. All right. So, anyway, Mr. Gartrell, so we got, this was your idea. We always come up with these ideas while we're drinking.
It never fails.
So it was, we talked about this a month or so ago, right? And, because you're a whiskey connoisseur.
Intermediate. I'm not necessarily a whiskey snob, but
Well, I mean, you've
I
got
do
a
like
lot
my
of
bourbon.
a lot of different bourbon that you enjoy, and do you have like your favorites?
Oh yeah, one of my favorites is here today.
Okay.
Actually, two of my absolute favorites. But
Well,
these are
you
all
can't
four.
you can't tell them because they got to pick. That's
But,
right.
What I did, these are 100 proofs, which is probably not necessarily ideal for beginning bourbon tasters, but this,
yeah.
It'll make for a great show here in about 30 minutes.
the Wild Turkey 101.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is
wow.
Gonna be, this is going to be like Cinco de Mayo with Golden and the Maracas before
Yeah.
it's over.
Oh, that's too funny.
So Wild Turkey, is this number one?
Well, no, I don't know. Andrea put them together. She poured them and she numbered them. So
Andrea, we need help in here. We
No,
can't
It's a
find.
blind test. We'll
It's
figure
a
out
blind
Oh,
which one.
it's
test.
a
We're
blind
gonna
test.
figure it out.
Well, how do I mean, I know the cups are numbered,
Okay.
which that's
Right.
very ingenious, by the way.
We're going to try to figure out which one we like
best.
individually the
And then
best.
you're going to tell us what it is.
Okay.
And then we'll figure out what it is.
All right.
I still know Flaz is
an
good for
under
this.
$30 bottle.
Flaz is
Wild
good
Turkey
for what?
101. This is scared partiers for years, but it's actually a delicious bourbon.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
101 proof. This is from the Wild Turkey Distillery. One of the more prominent ones in Kentucky. And the next one is Knob Creek.
Yep.
Now we've
Love
had
Knob
Knob Creek. We drink. I think we got a bottle of that out there. Or we've had a bottle of it.
And it's a little bit older than the others. It's 9 years old. These are going to be
That's nice.
6 to 8 years old.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Or aged in a barrel for 6 to 8.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
And the Knob Creek's under 40, fairly easily found, and it is from the Jim Beam Distillery.
Yep.
The other one is Heaven Hill, bottled in bond, 100 proof, 7-year-old. It's one of the few bourbons that actually has an age statement on it anymore, from Heaven Hill Distillery. And then the other one is the legendary, Heaven Hill is going to be around $50.
Okay.
$50.
When you find
Okay.
it. And this one, if you can find it at all, is going to be more in the $70 range or up, depending. This is E.H. Taylor, Colonel E.H. Taylor, bottled in bond. It's from the Buffalo Trace Distillery
Yeah.
in Frankfort, Kentucky.
Colonel Taylor.
Colonel Taylor was the father of the Bottle and Bond Act, which was actually, it was 1897, said that it was a way to measure whiskey evenly.
Oh.
All at 100 proof, all made in the same year. It was actually the first Consumer Protection Act in the United States for
Wow.
any
Wow.
consumer product.
I see.
Wow, we're just learning all kinds of things this morning.
But I don't know what they are. Andrea didn't tell me, so we'll pick.
Okay.
As long as we've
So
got
these are
all
number
the same
one that we
number.
have in our
But she
handout.
knows, right?
She knows.
She knows. So if we say, hey, man, I
Those
really
are the
like.
number twos,
those are
Tom.
twos.
Those
I
are
think
twos.
that one is
Here's
that
the one.
one's
You got
the
a one. That's a
one.
So
one.
we'll go with the one.
All
All
right.
right, got
And I
one
like
right
to
here.
smell
Cheers,
first.
everybody.
Yeah.
Cheers, cheers.
Yep.
Got to sniff it first, you know.
Cheers.
Got to take a look at what the bouquet is.
I was going to say I don't know if Flaz is the right person for this because I've never known him not to like any of the whiskey or bourbon that I put in front of him. So he likes it all.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
It's nice, subtle,
Yeah.
It's got
pretty
spicy.
good finish, really good smell.
Got a little burn.
Yeah, they were all going to have a little burn at 100.
Go at 100 proof. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
Okay, no, don't chug it.
Now I like
I'm not chugging it.
I like sipping whiskey. I like to come home and
Yeah.
I used to. I've kind of I can Flaz has kind of winged off a little bit on me on this because I used to just drink it straight. Now I put ice in it, and I like for it to be watered down a little bit.
Well, it'll open up and give you a little better
Yeah.
aroma.
I
Yeah.
think I explained that to you, right?
Yeah, Flaz taught me that. So, because honestly, I've always been more of a beer drinker, rum drinker, but I've definitely gotten more into bourbon and tequila over the past year.
Well, it's interesting. This is what
And-
most of our fathers drank bourbon.
yeah,
Right.
And then as the bourbon market kind of lagged in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, because that's not what we wanted. We got tired of seeing our old men drinking Jack Daniels or whatever, and
Yeah.
we liked the rums, we liked the vodkas, different things,
Right.
a little more
Sure,
flavor.
yeah.
And now bourbon has really made a huge comeback just in the last decade.
Yeah, it
And
has.
I
I've
was a
seen
Crown
that.
Royal guy for
Yeah.
most of my adult life, and a friend gave me a bottle of bourbon for birthday about 10 years ago, and I'm like, you know, had bourbon been this good to me
yeah.
when I was 22 or 23, I would have probably been a bourbon guy, but
Right.
it wasn't.
Tim Campbell just chimed in and said, I just bought a bottle of Angel's Envy
Oh yeah, that's really good.
and a bottle of Mitchers last night.
I like both those.
Yeah.
The Michter's is a very smooth, nice drinking whiskey.
Michers. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Mentors. Okay.
Now, Danny, I want to let you know that where I learned a little bit about blooming of the whiskeys was when Larissa and I went to, it wasn't Ireland, it was Scotland. We went to Edinburgh, Scotland, and went through the Scotch Institute there where they explain how they make Scotch
okay.
whiskeys and so on. So at the very end of the tours, which take about 3 hours or 4, they set you up with what they call a dram of each one of the places that it is made. So you have the Isle of Skye, you have the Highlands, and different places throughout the northern part of Scotland where the Scotch is actually made. But the one thing they served was a little bit of what they call it was like the water. It was a pure water. In other words, it had no chlorine in it. And you actually put a few drops into your dram in order to make the whiskey bloom.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good to know.
And that's what you get when you put a little bit of ice in there. And
Exactly.
The only thing I mix with bourbon is occasionally ice.
Just 1 cube, though, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
Well, depending on how much bourbon I put.
You know,
I see.
I think that's why down at the Stir downtown,
They have the big round
have,
ball.
Well, they have different shapes of ice cubes. They have the balls, they have the big cylinders, and it depends on
To fit the glass.
to fit the and it's also for the whiskey,
Yeah.
different types, whatever they have. Yeah, I thought that was neat.
Well, we got about 20 minutes here before JBL Legends
right.
travel moment.
Okay.
So we need
let's
to
move on to 2.
Let's move on to 2.
All right. This one is, and I think I have personally started drinking more bourbon, rum, and tequila. I just about burn out on beer, to be honest with you. I get burned out on it.
Yeah. So
But I do take a beer and chase my bourbon with a beer. or tequila or
And
whatever.
lots of times I'll chase this with a soft drink. I don't mix with cola.
I know Tim hates
but
my
I will
being here.
chase occasionally. Or
I
just
bet he
water.
does. He'll be back here next week.
That's right.
All right, so this one is number 2.
Not as much. I'm not
not
getting
as
as much
strong.
nose.
No,
Yeah.
you're right. I don't either.
Oh, that one's smoother.
A little more full-bodied than the other one.
I think I know what this is, and I think you're going to be really surprised
Yeah.
by it. At
That's definitely smoother than the first one. Doesn't have
Yeah.
as much bite. So,
not as long a finish either,
No, there's not a. It doesn't come back at you.
yeah.
and it doesn't drink like 100 proof. I mean, Danny, you don't get 100 proof burn really.
Right,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Neither one, actually.
So
That's
so
nice.
far, would you say number 2
For me, number 2's.
is the better
Is
of
the one
the
I'd
2 that
prefer
you
over
had?
They're both
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I'd have to go back and taste number
Yeah,
1
me
after
too.
that.
I think I prefer the one because I love the fragrance of the noses.
Yeah, I
They
think
say.
I prefer 1 over 2.
But I could drink either one of them.
Oh, hell yeah. Out of a boot. Absolutely.
I don't see where anybody says number 2 is smoother than number 1, because I think number 1 is a lighter version of bourbon, and number 2 actually to me has a little more of a, maybe not the linger, but it does have a nice solid burn as it goes down.
I like number 2.
Do you?
Yeah, I like number
All
1.
right.
I like
So-
number
Like
1. Yeah.
So
me too.
y'all are 1s,
And I'm a 2.
and she's a 2.
All
Let me-
right.
Let me go pick up the 3s.
Okay.
The threes and the
Send
fours.
in the.
Now, you know, Tim went and toured the Buffalo Trace Distillery.
Oh, wow.
Do what?
Yeah.
Tim, my husband, went and toured the Buffalo Trace Distillery one time when he was out and about.
I wonder what happens if you put 1 into tape.
It's gonna
You got a
break
party
up.
going on.
Yeah.
Now, that's something not a lot of people do, but in particular, Dan, while we're waiting, I'll share a story with you about bourbons. A bourbon that I really enjoy just for me is Old Forester 1910. And it's a twice barreled. And the story, they put out several heritage bottles that they regularly release. It's not that difficult to find. They're in about the $50 to $60 range. But the 1910, they had dumped barrels of whiskey ready to bottle, and their bottling line broke down. So rather than waste that whiskey, they put it back in new barrels
Thank you.
and kept it for a year or so and then bottled it. And in that tradition, the 1910 is twice barreled, which has become very popular. You know, you get a little more richness without getting the heavy oak of a long aged bourbon.
Right.
My
That's
taste is
3 and
different. A lot of
4,
people
right?
love that heavy tannin of something over 12 years old. They just that older bourbon. My sweet spot is 6 to 10 year old bourbon.
I got
A
you.
lot of people like 12, 15, whatever, but the older the bourbon, the more expensive the bourbon, generally.
Yeah, that's true, because for our 20th wedding anniversary, it took a while, but I secured a bottle of the Pappy's 20-year-old.
Oh, man.
I gave it to Tim for our...
Is that the Pappy Van Winkle?
yeah,
That is.
gave
That's
it to him as
Buffalo
our
Trace.
anniversary.
So you use the word secured. So I mean,
It literally
As
took me a
expensive
year
as that
to
is,
find
you
a bottle.
secure it. You
Yes.
don't procure it. You secure
That's
it.
right.
wow.
All right. So, what do we got now? We got number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Okay, so I'll give number 3 over here. Did you get a 3 already out?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
All right. She's already
There we
drank hers.
Lord,
I went back to 1.
I may have to have some cobbler before we go
I
much
was gonna
further.
say,
I'm getting a
Well, I'm not finishing the cups.
Yeah.
I'm already getting a buzz.
At 100 proof, that's why I told her I should put about a half ounce or less in there.
Yeah, these are very.
Not as much nose. Again, the first one had more nose.
Man,
It's kind of like the first one, actually.
these are very
That is-
similar.
Yeah,
That is
to
nice.
me.
they really are. It's like you have to keep tasting them. And halfway through, you'll be like, what
And
am I
Danny,
doing?
even as many different bourbons as I've tried, I don't know which one any of these are. I can't discern.
You can't discern.
because they're too similar.
You can't
Yeah.
do it like a
Yeah, they are
Pepsi
very
Coke
similar.
challenge.
No, no, you
They
cannot.
are.
Yeah.
And I
You
told
remember when
Andrew-
we had that?
Yeah,
back in the
I
day?
could definitely tell
Coke
Pepsi from
challenge?
Coca-Cola. 'Cause
I could
it's-
too.
I would, you know,
Pepsi's way too sweet.
too sweet for me. I was
Yeah,
always a Coke
like
person.
syrup.
Yeah.
But
This one has more of a aftertaste than the other two for me.
It does. And
It's like
there's
it's
a
still
little
there
bit-
and you just keep.
The finish just keeps hanging in there, and it's not necessarily that great
Right.
to me.
yeah,
I kind of get
You
more
getting
of
that,
a
Danny? You getting a long kind of
metallic taste.
yeah,
yeah. It's not that pleasant of
No.
a finish.
yeah.
So no to number 3.
For me, number 3 would.
Number three
I would
is
not
right
go back
now
to.
going to be number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, and right now the challenge is between 1 and 2 for me.
So I'm putting them in order that I liked them.
All right, and here's
Yeah.
the number 4s right there on the tray.
Let's give it to the lady. All right.
All right,
I'll
And Danny,
and Danny, and then
this is number 4.
I'll secure one from you.
right
Can
here
you
in
read?
just a minute,
Secure.
we're going to know why.
He'll be using that forever now. I'm going to go
yeah.
into the chocolate bar and secure some tequila. Well, when you get a hold of it, bring the bottle.
when she's saying secure, Danny, we're talking. It's 4 numbers to buy Pappy. I'm going to say it was close to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The 20-year, I'm going to say, was probably.
And it
close
was
to-
delivered by private courier.
And it had a
moly.
crooked number on the front. Yeah. Yeah, Danny, it's over $2,000, $3,000 for
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
Well,
I mean,
depending
I'm
on
not
where you
going to
get
admit it.
I think you just did. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry, Tim.
It's not cheap. If you can find it at retail, then
Yeah.
you're not dealing with a store that's dealing with anybody I know.
Truth be known, Uncle Alex found it in a garage.
He's got 10 bottles in his. Yeah.
Okay, now this one, I very subtle, almost honey to what I'm getting. Of course, now I am a smoker, Danny, so my nose is not near as sensitive as, say,
Yeah, I got more
Michelle's.
caramel than the other ones, but this one,
There's something subtle, a little sweet-ish. I noticed, Danny, incidentally, you have one of the best smelling bourbons, period, out there. I noticed you had a Buffalo Trace.
Yep, Buffalo
just
Trace, yeah.
Regular Buffalo Trace is just heavy vanilla and caramel nose. And I love to drink regular Buffalo Trace, but since I was doing 100s and it's 94, I just left it at that.
Oh yeah, you can't get off your game. Meanwhile, back at the studio,
Meanwhile, back at the studio.
I think I'm going to have to now say number 4 is my favorite.
You like 4? I'm still on number 1.
Because I
me
went
too.
back to number 2 and it's not so much.
and I have to, you have to be careful, because the first one you really like it, and you see you're not really tasting the other ones
Yeah.
the way you should, but we did. And I definitely would say 1 and 2 to me are pretty equal, but I would favor 2 probably.
Well, now, the
No
legendary...
kidding. Wow.
I mean 1.
Oh, okay. I
The,
thought
the
you changed
legendary
your-
master
Yeah.
distiller from Wild Turkey, Jimmy Russell. Jimmy's 90-something years old, and I think he's still an ambassador for Wild Turkey.
Yeah.
He always keeps water to clear his palate, and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
never
Yeah.
tests more than 3 at one time, and we're on to 4.
I know.
Yeah.
So,
And without the water and without the blooming, but
Yeah.
yeah, and you're getting a neck pour on 3 of these,
But
unfortunately.
number 2 now, number 2 to me now tastes
Well,
more harsh.
Uncle Alex, I'm
Than it did
flying the
originally.
plane right now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
he said, who's flying the plane? Oh, and listen to this. Bobby McQueen said, I sold a bottle of Old Weller last year.
Wow.
And got $12.50 for
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
Wow.
Weller
Oh,
is very
Weller.
good as well. Okay, I'm picking mine.
What's your pick?
Mine's number 4.
really.
Okay, what's
like
your
number
pick,
4.
class?
I'm gonna go with 1.
I'm going to go with 1.
I'm going to go, honestly, I'm going to go in the order that I had them.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4 is my least favorite.
Oh, oh.
I'd say
Okay.
that's probably. I think you're pretty accurate about that. Yeah.
Andrew, would you tell us what is
I'm
what?
4213.
Andrea?
I'm going to hold the bottles. You tell me which one's number 1, dear. Which one's 1?
Through the window.
Through the window. There you go.
Who's
Taylor's number 1.
Who?
The legendary E.H.
Yeah,
Taylor.
see, I
is
just
number
The
knew
one.
that.
most expensive
I knew it.
bottle
Yeah.
was
What's number
number
2?
1.
Yep. That's the one we picked, Danny.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Naturally.
number 2 is $23 Wild Turkey 101 that scares people to death.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
That is
That's amazing.
Actually
Well, that's the one that we
very
thought
underrated.
burned a
What's
little bit
3,
more.
babe?
I would probably, I don't know if we're going to get Colonel Taylor around here. What's number 4?
Or 3, and number 4 is Knob Creek.
No
there you
kidding.
go.
I like Knob
That's
Creek.
yours.
Wow.
And you guys, you 3 all like the most expensive one on
And I
Colonel
like the
Taylor.
one that tastes really good, high quality, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg.
That's
Well,
surprising.
you know, I
It's
mean-
surprising, though. I mean,
And
because
you
I
can
love
find
Knob Creek.
this
Dan-
in
Danny and
any
I are
liquor store
serious
you walk
drinkers.
into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can
Is that your
find this
excuse?
one
That's it.
in any liquor store you walk into.
Right.
Yeah.
That was number 2.
This one you're going to have to ask for or ask them to order it for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And this one, unless you got a connection, you're probably not going to find it for less than $100.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that
What about
surprises
that?
me.
So
actually.
let's do one thing that it's going to be fun. Let's pour them all 4 together into one and taste them.
There's
Okay.
always that guy. Let's play truth or
Is
dare.
this kind of like a witch's cauldron? When you mix it all together, smoke comes out.
I guess so.
The
I
whole
think
bunch.
we're going to make a whole potion.
We're gonna
of
mix it?
something.
Yeah, we're gonna just pour them all together and see what we think, huh? Yeah. You never
Well,
know.
but
huh?
everybody has a different concentration.
Well, so
It doesn't
what?
matter.
We're just saying, cheers, right?
What you have there now is
Is a
an
bastard.
infinity glass.
What you have there now is it's midnight and you
No,
just
it's
don't
a-
really give a crap. Now
Right.
you just grabbing
There's a
bottles
thing.
and drinking it.
What you- what
There's
you-
a thing with bourbon guys, if they've got just a little bit left, they'll pour it in a bottle like your mead bottle.
Yeah.
And they'll call it an infinity bottle. And when they get a bottle down to just not even a good pour, they'll just keep putting the mixture
Oh,
in there.
I like this one.
I was gonna
I
say.
choose number 5.
I know. It smoothed it off, didn't it?
It did.
It really smoothed it off.
Number 5 is pretty good. I like it.
You only had 4.
concoction.
Well, whatever.
Whose turn is it to play truth or dare? Spin the bottle.
I do. I like that.
Yes.
That's
Danny,
too
pass
funny.
me that syringe.
Because
Yes, that's very good.
Yeah,
Because
it
the
is.
bourbon arrived, I was talking about the 1910. They
I'll be
also make a
doggone.
1920, which
Yeah.
is Prohibition style, which is very high proof. The
Wow.
Old Forester.
Yeah.
If you take the 1910 and 1920 and you mix them 50-50, they call it a 1915, which is supposed
2020,
to be
50, 50, 1915. Okay.
which is supposed to be the perfect pour. And it may very well be because
I'll be
you get the
doggone.
mix of that twice barreled Old Forester with a higher proof Old Forester, and I can have 2 glasses of that, and Andrea pours me into the truck to take me home.
Wow. Wow.
What I can tell you is I can breathe really well right now through my nose. My sinuses are clear.
Well, there's that.
Very good. Very
I
good.
guess the lesson to be learned here
Is there a lesson?
is just because it doesn't cost a lot
Don't
doesn't mean
it's not
And it's
good.
not
a
good.
good bourbon.
Now, what number
because
was that out of what we drank?
This was 2.
Okay.
You
That
know,
was
I
number
like
this
2,
was
and you
two,
liked
and this
Two
that
was
one.
my favorite one
Generally
until I got
$22,
to,
$23 anywhere you find it.
Yeah.
And I can remember being college age, and we were, we would mix this in a party punch because we were scared to death. We saw this 101,
Right.
Right.
and we were like, oh no, we can't.
Well-
No, you can sit and sip this.
Have you
Tim's
ever
excited that I finally like something that doesn't cost a lot of money.
Has
Well,
any-
actually, now the one we all picked is damn hard to find.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Now, what were
Makes
you
sense.
saying, Flas?
I was saying that has anybody ever tasted 151 rum?
Yes.
I mean, it is
made
like,
hurricanes with it.
well, no, I meant straight.
Oh, no.
Just kind of like we're doing.
And Bananas Foster is fantastic. Have y'all had Bananas Foster?
Oh yeah, I make
That's
it all
a
the
dessert,
time.
right?
Yes.
That you set on fire?
Yes, that's right.
You
It's a
flambe
very,
the-
it's a flambe.
flambe.
I've never
Yep.
had it. I've only seen
Okay,
it.
so when
Okay,
next
when
time
you
you're
and Danny
over, I'm
come
going to
hang
make
out
it
with us,
for
we've got a
you.
place in town that does it.
Yeah.
German chef, old friend of mine.
Oh, nice.
Y'all, we will make reservations. We'll go have a wonderful steak and Bananas Foster for dessert.
That sounds amazing.
Holy cow.
And Michelle, and Glenn,
Flas?
y'all can come too.
Oh, well, that's nice of you.
Now,
Thank you.
now you're up in the ante there. I love it.